Welcome to Earthly Reads, a My Cup of Earth production. Deep in the ocean, where the coral reefs swayed gently in the current, and the schools of fish darted about like shimmering jewels, there lived a little sea turtle named Finley. Finley was a curious and adventurous young turtle, with a shell as hard as a rock and a heart full of wonder. Finley loved to explore the ocean, discovering hidden caves and secret passageways that few other sea creatures knew existed. She would swim for hours, her flippers propelling her through the water, her eyes scanning the seafloor for treasures and surprises. One day, as Finley swam through a particularly narrow passageway, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep beneath the waves. The chamber was filled with glittering treasures, shells of every shape and size, shimmering pearls, and even a few sunken ships, their wooden hulls covered in coral and anemones. Finley was amazed by the treasures before her. She had never seen anything like it before. As she swam closer, she noticed a small, intricately carved stone nestled among the shells. The stone was shaped like a dolphin, and it seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. Suddenly, Finley felt a strange sensation in her shell. It was as if the stone was calling to her, drawing her closer. Without thinking, she reached out with her fin and touched the stone. Instantly, she was enveloped in a warm, golden light. When the light faded, Finley found herself in a vast, underwater city. The city was filled with towering spires and grand architecture, and the streets were paved with shimmering pearls. Finley saw sea creatures of all kinds moving about, each one going about their daily business with a sense of purpose and belonging. A friendly mermaid approached Finley, her long, flowing hair flowing like the seaweed in the current. "Welcome, young turtle," she said, with a warm smile. "I am Marina, the queen of this underwater city. You have been brought here for a special purpose." Finley was amazed. She had never heard of an underwater city before, and she had certainly never met a mermaid queen. "What is my purpose?" she asked, her curiosity getting the better of her. Marina's smile grew wider. "You have been chosen to help us with a great problem," she said. "Our city is in danger. A dark and powerful force has begun to threaten our way of life, and we need someone brave and clever to help us defeat it." Finley's heart pounded with excitement. She had never been on a quest before, but she was ready for the challenge. "I'm ready to help," she said, her voice steady. Marina nodded. "I knew you would be. Follow me, and I will show you the way." Finley followed Marina through the city, marveling at the wonders they passed. They swam through streets lined with glittering jewels, and past great halls filled with sea creatures of all kinds. Finally, they came to a large, ornate door, adorned with shells and pearls. "This is the door to the heart of our city," Marina said. "But to get there, we must first face the dangers that lie within." Finley steeled herself for the challenge ahead. She knew that she would have to be brave and clever if she was going to help Marina and the people of the underwater city. With a deep breath, she pushed open the door and swam into the unknown. The journey begins. Finley and Marina swam through a winding tunnel, the walls of which were lined with glittering crystals. The air was filled with the sweet scent of seaweed, and the sound of gentle music seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. As they swam, Finley noticed that the tunnel was growing darker. The crystals on the walls seemed to be fading, and the music was growing fainter. Suddenly, the tunnel opened up into a vast, dark cavern. Finley's heart skipped a beat. The cavern was filled with towering shadows, and the air was thick with the smell of salt and seaweed. She could hear the sound of distant thunder, and the ground seemed to be trembling beneath her feet. Marina's voice was calm and steady. "We must be careful," she said. "The cavern is home to many dangers, and we must be prepared to face them." Finley nodded, her heart pounding with excitement. She was ready for whatever lay ahead. As they swam deeper into the cavern, Finley noticed that the shadows seemed to be growing darker, and the air was growing colder. She could see the faint outline of a figure in the distance, and her heart skipped a beat. Suddenly, a great, glowing eye appeared in the darkness. Finley let out a startled cry, but Marina's voice was calm and reassuring. "Do not be afraid," she said. "This is the guardian of the cavern. He is a powerful and wise creature, and he will help us on our journey." Finley watched in awe as the guardian spoke to Marina in a language she couldn't understand. The guardian's voice was like thunder, and his words seemed to shake the very foundations of the cavern. Marina nodded, her eyes shining with understanding. "He has given us permission to pass," she said. "But we must be careful. The cavern is full of dangers, and we must be prepared to face them." Finley nodded, her heart pounding with excitement. She was ready for whatever lay ahead. The dark force. As they swam deeper into the cavern, Finley noticed that the air was growing colder, and the shadows seemed to be growing darker. She could see the faint outline of a figure in the distance, and her heart skipped a beat. Suddenly, a dark and menacing shape appeared before them. Finley let out a startled cry, but Marina's voice was calm and reassuring. "Do not be afraid," she said. "This is the dark force, a powerful and evil entity that threatens our city. We must defeat it if we are to save our home." Finley watched in awe as Marina and the Guardian prepared to face the dark force. The Guardian's eyes glowed with a fierce light, and Marina's fins seemed to shimmer with a powerful energy. Finley knew that she had to help. She swam forward, her heart pounding with excitement, and joined Marina and the Guardian in their battle against the dark force. The battle was fierce and intense, with the three of them swimming and fighting against the dark force's powerful attacks. Finley used her quick thinking and agility to dodge the dark force's blows, and Marina and the Guardian used their powerful magic and strength to drive it back. Finally, after what seemed like hours of fighting, the dark force was defeated. Finley and her companions swam back to the city, exhausted but triumphant. Marina smiled, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you, Finley," she said. "You have saved our city from the dark force. You are a true hero." Finley blushed, her heart pounding with pride. She had never felt so brave and powerful before. The return journey. As Finley and Marina swam back to the city, Finley couldn't help but feel a sense of sadness. She had grown to love the underwater city and its people, and she knew that she would miss them dearly. But Marina's words of gratitude still echoed in her mind, and she knew that she had to return to her own home. With a heavy heart, Finley bid farewell to Marina and the Guardian, and swam back through the tunnel to the hidden chamber. As she emerged into the bright sunlight, Finley felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had accomplished her mission, and she had saved the underwater city from the dark force. But as she swam back to her own home, Finley couldn't help but wonder what other adventures lay ahead. She knew that she would always be ready to face whatever challenges came her way, and she was excited to see what the future held. And so, Finley returned home, her heart full of wonder and her spirit full of adventure. She knew that she would always be a hero, and that she would always be ready to face whatever lay ahead. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.